Good morning, how are you? It's a grey morning. It's the shortest day today, and it's just literally got light. And I'm going to a solstice party at 3 o'clock this afternoon, which is, I don't know what that's all about. I'll have to look it up. I hope you don't have to take your clothes off and dance around a yew tree naked, because it's a bit cold for that. But yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's I don't know. I mean, there are more atheists in the country now than there are people who are religious. And do you think it's possible that in a few years, December 21st or 22nd will supplant? What is it? 21st. Will supplant the 25th as the holiday? Be interesting, wouldn't it? Interesting to think. I mean, there's some positives to that. It would be, first of all, it's non-denominational. Secondly, it means you get a longer holiday, doesn't it, between the festival and the midwinter, or the start of the winter festival, and the New Year. Anyway, I don't know. Are you winding down now? Are you in a sort of surgery that's just completely manic right up to the last minute, and then hits the floor running again on January the 2nd? Or are you like me, where you start increasingly booking off more time, you know, for emergencies? It's quite important for us that we deal with everybody who has a problem before Christmas. So we have quite a bit of free time in the last couple of days, culminating in tomorrow, when I'll have absolutely nobody booked in. We'll finish at lunchtime, but we'll have nobody booked in, and yet we'll all still come in, and that's because if anybody does ring up in a panic and say, you know, my whatever's fallen off, then we just say to them, yeah, just come in, you know, and if we're still sober enough, we'll deal with you. But there's so much scope, isn't there, for improving the service level agreement that we give people, you know. I'm quite happy to work in that space now, the space where you charge people more and don't work so hard, you know. But you are on call and available and offer a service which is over and above, you know. I had that woman who had a pain and swelling from her wisdom. It's an upper right 6 actually. She came in yesterday and we finished off her root treatment. We've filled all 3 roots perfectly. Her pain has gone away, her swelling's gone away. She's totally happy. Tooth completely settled down. And I mean, you know, a gap at the upper right 6 is a bit of a nuisance, isn't it? It's not, you know, it's going to show up in photos and things, so it's not desirable. But she, you know, she quite happily said that she would have had the tooth out if we'd suggested it when she was in so much pain. But we root treated it, and obviously we did it over 3 visits, which is rare. You know, normally I will root treat a tooth in as few root visits as I possibly can. But for a multi-rooted tooth, the only unusual thing I did with this was that we filled 2 roots and then left 1, and told her to come back to get the 3rd one filled, and that is a bit unusual, you know. But that was because there was a lot of pus coming down the palatal canal, so I spent a lot of time dealing with that and cleaning and filing, and just confirming that I was, you know, it was going to be okay to fill and not fill up with pus before we got any GP in it. And so that just took some time. Plus you get a feeling that the patient's had enough. You know, when you've had enough, the patient's had enough as well. That's why I try and cultivate the sense of fed upness that coincides with the patients, which is pretty short, you know. I mean, technically I could work on a patient for 2 hours, 3 hours, but I reckon about an hour is as much as anyone can stand in the chair, even if it's pain-free, but they've got to keep their mouth open, even if they've got the rubber dam on, where they've got to keep swallowing, blah blah blah. You know, it's, you know, if they make the slightest hint that they're uncomfortable or fed up, then that's the time to start wrapping up. You know, unless you're literally like 5 minutes from finishing, in which case say, look, I know, you know, I'll wrap up, but I'm 5 minutes from finishing, just bear with me, and then you won't have to come back. So that's good. That was a really good case to finish on. Fantastic, technically a lovely piece of work, and a patient who's happy to save a tooth and get out of pain. And we had another lady who came in. Funnily enough, we sent out an email to everybody saying what our closing hours are going to be and advising them what the arrangements are for emergency treatment. And we immediately got an email back in reply saying, oh my God, I need a filling before Christmas. I thought, this is someone after my own heart, someone who's totally disorganised and still thinks it's the middle of November, you know, and Christmas is plenty of time away. So told her to come in yesterday, and she had a upper left 3 distal incisal. It was quite badly decayed. I think a filling had fallen out and she'd left it probably for 6-9 months or something. And her husband had said to her, you know, that filling that fell out 9 months ago, you've got to go and get that fixed, because we don't want it giving you trouble over Christmas. So she's booked in at the last minute and said, you know, can you get this filling done? I don't want it giving me trouble over Christmas. So we did a distal incisal on a 3 for her. In and out, nice job. Again, nice easy job. She's happy. But we've been able to do it for her. You know, we don't have all this. You know, I'm sorry you can't get an appointment here until April. I'm sorry you can't get an emergency appointment here for 2 weeks. Patients need it. They want it. They come in. They have it. They pay for it. They go away. It's a different type of arrangement, you know. It is true. If you've got money, and not a lot of money, I mean, but just a few £100 to spend on whatever needs to be spent on, it's a different lifestyle, you know. You find a bunch of different suppliers. This is what I was trying to say about that restaurant I went to the other day, you know. I mean, it's a nice restaurant. It's got all the silver service cutlery and the polished glasses, and I mean properly polished glasses, not just been through a dishwasher. Got water spots on type glasses, but nice polished glasses and everything. And but it's still not made that transition, you know, to the sort of service that you're looking for when you've got more money than sense. Or lots of money and quite a highly developed aesthetic sense. Oh dear. Perhaps I'm looking in the wrong place. Perhaps East Kent is not, you know, perhaps Ramsgate is not the place. These are not the droids I'm looking for. Talking of which, I'm going to see Star Wars over the Christmas period. This will be my last. This will be my last video of the year, I should imagine. I've just been through with Mrs. Angry what's what, you know, about the coming week when the little Angries are coming to visit, and when we're going to visit the in-laws. And then apparently from 26th onwards, not much is happening at all, which is great. So that'll be time spent sitting in bed, reading the Bitcoin ticker, and playing Sniper Elite 4, I should imagine. Such fun. Oh, it really is a great day. I honestly feel sorry for the old cabbage pickers. If you have cabbage for your Christmas lunch, I'll tell you what, there's some very, very miserable cabbage pickers, about 8 of them, standing in the middle of a a cabbage field. They can't hardly see the hand in front of their face, armed with nothing but a sharp knife. That's the reality of your Christmas cabbage, I'm afraid. But, I just hope they got 3 pairs of socks on, because that, and some decent wellies, because that mud looks pretty cold. Round we go. I am working tomorrow. I don't know if I'll do a video tomorrow. I might do. I haven't got anything to say really. I've just about shaken this cough. I'm going through the. I went through the night last night without chucking my guts up, which was good. A good thing. So I reckon as soon as I stop seeing the patients, my illnesses will probably go away. I had a career break in the middle of my dentistry. From about 2004 I got this administrative job with in Harley Street, running the association, and enjoyed a spell of relatively good health, and then and then went back into general practice and was so sick. I mean, like, for a year I had everything, every cough, every runny nose, every illness that you can imagine I got in a year. And then my antibodies finally built up to the point where I was reasonably immune to the general public. But you get someone in with an exotic cough, and I think in my case it's my ex-implantologist who lives in America and always comes over with some sort of shocking sinusitis, which he says is due to the travelling on the plane. But I think it's some exotic American rhinovirus, which he then proceeds to give to me, and I proceed to give to the staff, who proceed to give it to everybody. And that's really, has anyone done a study on the impact of air travel on the spread of infectious, we're funny, aren't we, because we sort of split infectious diseases into 2 groups: those that we care about, like Ebola and Zika virus, and those that we don't care about, like, getting a snotty nose. But they're just as infectious as each other, I suppose. Well, no, probably no, rhinovirus is not as infectious as Ebola. I know, I'm not trying to say that it is, but what I'm saying is that there's a class of viruses that we don't seem to care about, and it seems to me that air travel is a good way to make sure that they travel around the world, in the same way as when sea travel became routine, and the ships carried rats, didn't they, to foreign countries and all sorts of plant species and things like that. And now we're like, oh yeah, that's how the rats got into North America. They came aboard a ship. And perhaps in 100 years' time, we're going to look at, when we've got machines capable of categorising and analysing viruses routinely, we'll say, oh yeah, that's where the North American rhinovirus got into the UK. Used to come across in planes from Heathrow. Poor old Manston Airport. That was a lovely airport. That was a lovely airport, and should still be working as an airport. There's a big fight over it. Someone wants to put a housing estate on it, probably in a shopping centre. Which is, I'm not saying we don't need housing estates, because there's been no house building, but you don't have to put a housing estate on the top of an existing amenity. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to build an Asda on the top of a Sainsbury's. Let's have that as an airport, and then have a housing estate somewhere else. God knows there's enough space. Actually, if you fly over Kent, you can see how much space there is. It's only driving around Kent it looks built up, and that's because all the roads go through built up areas. So Kent looks like it's totally built up. If you fly over it, you'll see actually there's hardly any development at all in Kent. It's mostly fields, mostly. There are plenty of spaces to build, plenty. But unfortunately we can't fly over Kent because they've closed down the airfield. Ha! No, the only key with illnesses, I think, is to catch enough of them to get some sort of build up some sort of resistance. It's like Pokemon. You've got to catch them all, and then once you've got them all, then you're reasonably okay. But they can take a while. I've had my Baileys and a little think about the year. I think I can say without a shadow of a doubt it's been the best year ever, and that's without any hyperbole. Those of you who keep an eye on the content of these podcasts probably know why. It's not because I'm running a fantastic successful dental surgery, I'll tell you that. That dental surgery of mine and profit are strangers. In fact, I don't know how long I'll be able to run that without making a profit before somebody starts looking at it askance. There are very few dental surgeries around that are run just to break even. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah, this is my technician's last day for my technician today. He's off tomorrow, Friday. I'm not working tomorrow, Friday. I'm only coming in spirit only. We will be in spirit as well. And that's it. That was 2017. One of my nurses passed her nursing exam. It's turned into one of the best nurses I've ever had. Another one of my nurses, who's a senior nurse, is a year on. She has a complicated life, but things are looking up for her. Thanks to everyone pulling together. And then so yeah, mate, you take it 1 month at a time, don't you? I think that's the best thing to do. Take my mortgage, for example, my house mortgage. See, I do have a look from time to time to see how much it is, and I like to see the fact that it's come down a bit, but it always seems to be a massive amount. It's always big, do you know what I mean? Paying it off is never on the horizon. I mean, it might be in about 10 years time. I might think, oh, this year I'm going to pay it off. It's really tiny. But not for 25, 35 years have I ever thought that. So all I do is I just concentrate on making this month's payment. It's this month's payment. And that's all you need to make. You just need to make this month's payment. If you can just make this month's payment, then you can start worrying about making next month's payment next month. Okay? Plenty of time. So, that's my advice. Don't worry. Things have a way of turning up. Solutions have a way of turning up. Just when you think it's the darkest day, everything changes, and it starts getting lighter in the morning, and it starts getting lighter in the evening, and everything's all right again. Okay? So don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. You have my word for it. And I never lie. Okay? I might see you tomorrow. If not, see you next year. Bye.